So with a mother and a father like that, I run into these problems a lot. It's cost me. Oh my God. Let me see. When's the last time other than this hit me like a bag of rocks? Okay. I was walking home from work and I had a seizure on the side of the road and had to spend almost the whole night laying there in a gutter. That hurts you mentally. I've had seizures where people have laughed at me because I can't move my legs properly. That hurts you mentally. During childhood, I was called the raggedy kid and I was made fun of for about 4 years straight living in Haverhill because my father wouldn't give me clothes money or give the program clothes money like the rest of the kids. And because they didn't have enough staff just to do one on one with one kid, I had to stay in my room because it's one on one and they didn't have the staff. They weren't planning on having a kid back in the program. The idea was to bring all the kids clothing shopping, but if I have no money, then I can't go because the other kids call me the clothing kid who's a raggedy kid. So if I go, they all feel bad for me and they all start offering me clothing. And they tried having me say no when I said no, but people still want to buy me clothing anyways. They'll buy their own and give me their stuff like that. And I have to tell them no, 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 because the program told me to say no. But the kids still feel bad because my parents aren't buying me clothing, and I don't know why. Now, why wasn't all my health problems and my neurological disorder handled before I was 19? Because my mother and father were lying to doctors, teachers, and me and the family. If they were honest, then I might have been able to put it together sooner. But instead, they lied to everybody. They even lied and got in trouble for Social Security, what would have been a really important piece of the puzzle for me to figure out what the hell was going on. And I really hope my father wasn't complicit in my mother's actions. I truly believe my father is a victim and he was being lied to and manipulated by my mother because I saw this happening almost all the time. But I wonder if my father deep down knew what she was doing. I mean, if you have a child OD'd at your feet, passed out, who just screamed, help, 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 but he couldn't form words properly because his whole mouth is numb. He can't stand up. He's saying, I can't see, I can't see, I can't see. And he can't see the TV, can't see his own hands. And you just let him sleep it off. And even if that's not enough red flags, this kid wakes up telling you he went blind, lost his vision completely, is at the doctor's talking about something that really sounds like an overdose. It sounds like his mother gave him a lot of pills and an overdose incurred, and you guys refused to get him help. But instead, you guys dodge the information and never get him help for this overdose. Instead, you guys go along with, it's an allergy attack, nothing to see here. Even though no doctor ever established that overdose as an allergy attack. My mother just pulled that out of thin air, and then when the doctor asked further questions like what medications was he given, gave nothing. So you can see why this came back to bite me again and again. Now I have a job. I have people that like me. My emergency contact is my manager right this minute. I just talked to her. She goes, Zach, please come back and get healthy. Please tell those doctors, would it help if we put a gun to their head? I said, that's not funny. You can't put guns to doctors' heads. They go, well, somebody needs to do something. We've seen you suffer, and we can't believe the way the doctors are handling you. I said, I can't believe it either, but I understand it because I saw what my mother and father were doing. Nobody else understands it because they haven't seen the last 25 years of history, my mother's and father's choices. They didn't see how my mother and father reacted when it was time for me to drive. They didn't see how they reacted when it was time for me to go to the doctor. They didn't see where I was living. They didn't see what medications I was taking. They didn't see how my mother was acting. They didn't see the conversations I was having with teachers and family members. If they had, they would have been, oh, no wonder why you're crippled. Yeah, your mother. Poor, poor kid, your mother poisoning you like that and hurting you like that. But see, other people don't have this information because my father hid it from everybody. You think my DMH worker was informed about the ruler beating I got in the other room when the metal ruler hit me in the face? You think that Um, you think that the DMH worker or the right authorities were informed when my mother slipped and gave me too much medicine? If my mother was lying at the doctors to get me prescribed medicine, do you think anybody informed the state? If my father was trying to collect Social Security after I was 18 and I was supposed to be paying rent with that Social Security, you think anybody informed the program or me or the state that I was getting a free ride illegally and that I was filing food stamp paperwork illegally right at the end? I never received any food stamps, but I filed it. I filed the paperwork right at the end. So, is there anybody properly telling the truth around here, or is it just me? Because it sure sounds like I'm the only honest person trying to get help around here. It seems like my father wants me to go die in the woods and keep quiet about all this. Seems like getting help for me is not the top of his priority. If my mother says, oh, he needs psychiatry help, oh, he'll run in a heartbeat because my mother is there. And he'll do anything my mother says as far as health is concerned. But as far as me, no matter how much I beg and plead for us to go to the doctors and talk about this overdose, no matter how many times I bring up this interaction when I lost the ability to use and feel my nervous system, which I didn't even learn how to say that sentence until about the age of 19. Before, I was calling it losing my sight, losing feeling in my hands and arms and legs. I was calling it lightning in the back. I had all different types of words to describe it, but they were very hard to picture for other parties. But nobody ever even listened. I didn't even get to speak about it at the doctor's. As soon as I spoke about it, my mother would shut it up real quick. Nothing to see here. And then I would be moved to another state, even when the teachers were bringing it up. So this shit here isn't because anything happened. No, nothing happened between me and my landlord. 3 years ago, I got hurt. 2 years ago, I got hurt. 4 months ago, I got hurt. The landlord's doing stuff he's not supposed to be, and I'm not able to pay my rent. My roommate is doing stuff that he's not supposed to be, and my father and mother already did stuff they're not supposed to be. When the landlord wanted to throw me on the ground because I followed the court clerk's exact advice, she said, get this notarized and hand it to the landlord when he comes to for rent. We did that, and I got thrown through a door and whined like a little bitch, call the police, call the police. So I did exactly as I was told to do. Instead, what do I get for all that? What do I get for following Jesus? Giving faith and love to my mother and father, listening to their advice, taking the medicine they say take, going to the schools they say go to, following my mother to the ends of the earth. When my mother went to Texas, I followed. When my mother wanted me in New Mexico, I followed. When my mother wanted to go to Maine, I followed. When my mother and father wanted to go to Chelmsford, I followed. When my mother wanted to shove me into Haverhill, they sent me. Whatever happened, it was their choices that led me to today. And even though I make a lot of really good choices to try to remedy, and I am a really, really smart cookie when it comes to using $0 to get through a problem. But I doubt that anybody with my setup for my mother and father, with the druggings and the health issues I have, would have made it this far. I've had so many near-death experiences, and my first one was at 7 years old. I really thought I was going to die that night, and I woke up with like sucking my skin and walking funny, and teachers calling me in the hallway asking me why. My body's moving differently, my name is written differently, my speech sounds differently, my walk is different, and it is not going away. This was at 7 years old. I'm now 31, and it's still with me. And this is the reason why we're having problems right now. I continue to have falls, seizures, and injuries, but I have no help whatsoever. Now, normally, people are only out for a little bit and they would be on Social Security or some type of cushion while they're out. But I don't get those because my mother and father already collected Social Security and they already put a black mark in my name for theft and misappropriation of funds. And I refused to sign when Social Security wanted to charge my father. The state of Massachusetts wanted me to sign paperwork so they could recoup what my father kept and then give it to the program, the state program, through me. And I refused to sign what really, really put a black mark on me. And my father just ran off, too. He never kept his end of the bargain to help me with the Social Security paperwork. Instead, he just ran off. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, you're a stupid asshole for supporting me, Zach. Man, you're stupid. You really thought I was a good father who would help you get what you need to survive out there? Fuck that. Fucking deal with it, your shit. I don't care what mess we created. You fucking clean it up. I got a vacation to go to. That's my father's attitude when it came to my Social Security and his mess up and me bailing him out. As soon as he was free of the weight, as soon as nobody was trying to bring him to court, as soon as he knew that he wasn't going to have to pay a dime to anybody, he felt no responsibility to me whatsoever, and he did absolutely nothing to improve my situation. I literally lost my housing and I did not get the proper training I needed to apply for Social Security. I missed out on how to fill out for cash benefits, things like that, and they would have got me my first apartment and showed me how to file bills. They even do house visits and come to your apartment to kind of show you a couple things in the beginning. And I will no longer get that help because my father lied. So I didn't get any of that. And that's okay. I forgave him. And I moved on mentally and physically from that. But I still had a neurological disorder that I didn't know was called a neurological disorder. I was calling it lightning in my body or shakes or falls or whatever. Bumping in the furniture, stubbing my toe. Not knowing that people don't go through this all the time. So, at the age of 31, this bites me in the ass. What do? I go to the doctors. What happens if I go to the doctors? This. I get evicted. Anytime I try to get healthy, I lose everything. Anytime I spend my 3 days, 2 days a week getting healthy, I get evicted. There's no possible way to come up with $1,200 a month while spending most of your time at the doctor. So I spend most of my time working, then I get injured. I get injured here, seizure there. The bills pile up, and then this happens. Every time I get hit by my father's bag of rocks. And now on July 16th, I'm going to lose about $20,000 worth of very necessary equipment. Everything from oxygen concentrators to mattresses to bed frames. Only because I got injured once again from my neurological disorder because I'm not allowed to get medical care or help or Social Security or drive. Even driving would fix this because then I could just sleep in my car as I heal up and go back to work and get another apartment. I could get a truck, move my stuff in because I have a nice Stanley trunk that can hold about $5,000, $10,000 worth of gear that I already have loaded. But I can't put it in storage. I don't drive and I don't have any way to move stuff around. You can't walk with a ton of shit around town. The police will stop you on the side of the road of 108. You can't walk from town to town like that. They'll think you're hitchhiking and they'll arrest you for hitchhiking. Or they'll tell you to keep it moving. You have to have a place for this stuff. And I have a place. But at this point, it's done and over with. He knows that he has a septic tank buried, my landlord. He knows there's a gaping hole with waterfalls coming in. We've been good about it for 6 years, not filing with the courts because we don't know how to properly file. Now that he knows we're trying to do something about it, the landlord will not be happy with us. Plus, the landlord has to go for an assault in October that's on camera. So he doesn't like us one bit. But the main problem for the last 3 years has been very simple. I am out of work because I'm injured 3 years running, and I've had 25 years of injuries reoccurring And all I need to do is get my medical record straight, get Social Security, go back to work, get epilepsy medication, maybe Ativan, maybe, with CBDV, and I'd probably be golden. But there's many combos. There's plenty of epilepsy medications out there where I shouldn't need any Ativan whatsoever. But I'm not allowed to get that type of help because nobody wants to even lay a hand on me with a mother crying wolf like mine. They don't know up from down, and they don't want to malpractice me. Meanwhile, they malpractice me. They'll malpractice me while worrying about malpracticing me. And that's the worst part about it.